welcome back to Two Hot Beans in the Pod. If you're new here, I'm Liz.
And I'm Itzen.
Thank you for tuning in and joining us. So, we know that we've been taking a few breaks here and there. We haven't been as consistent. We apologize for that, but we're trying.
Yeah.
Anyways, so.
But we're here.
Yeah, we're here.
And if you guys have not known, we just made a TikTok. We're very new into that. So, it's just going to be a little part of us when, our free time, and we have such a funny moments together with Liz and I, and random things happen that all the time I wish that we recorded this and we're going to share the funny stories we encounter in our free time. So hopefully you guys enjoy. Let us know what you think, and don't forget to like and
subscribe.
Yes.
Anyways, so today's topic is about communication, specifically in relationships and the importance of it before marriage.
And I know we've talked about communication before. This is a totally different level of communication, not just to talk about your feelings, but we also think that a lot of couples and a lot of relationships go along without talking about the real things and, things that will prolong or break up the relationship, because we think that a lot of people don't think about or bring things up that they should bring up.
Yeah, that are important, very important factors of a relationship, specifically to that person. Like the things that are important to you.
Correct. And many of the things, I feel like the main one can be like money or wanting kids. How many kids? Traveling, adjusting to several things of life, because life, like I've said before, it's a roller coaster, and you have to learn to adjust, but also learn to communicate with the partner that you think that you want in your life and future. And a lot of people don't realize how important that is and how short or long can make your relationship.
Yeah, like one thing I learned when I was attending a lot of weddings a couple years ago before the pandemic, a lot of my friends who had already tied the knot or were about to tie the knot didn't talk about children.
Yep.
So one person didn't want any children because they already had some, or they just didn't want them at all, and the other party did. And they obviously never talked about it because it would be asked. Of course, it's like one of those questions that people ask at weddings or at gatherings, like, oh, so, when are you going to start having kids? And one person says no, and the other one's just like...
Yeah, and that's something that you don't realize until you're like, oh, shit, wait a minute. Yep. You don't want to have kids? Or, it's like, so what are we doing?
Or even the number of it, because some people want to have 5, 6, 10, and then some people just want to have their 2.
Yeah.
And that can be an issue. So those are very important things to discuss, I feel like, when starting a relationship.
I feel like that should be part of dating. We've talked about this. It's dating. That's the stage that you need to ask all the questions about money, about, I know sometimes money can be a little tricky just because a lot of us feel like, oh, well, I don't want to come across the wrong way. I don't want to, misinterpret this kind of questions and oh, how much do you earn? And you don't really have to say how much you earn. You just have to talk about well, are you willing to do joint accounts? Or for me, for instance, I'm not really comfortable with joint accounts just because I'm a very control freak with money. I like to save. I like to budget. I feel like budgeting for me is very important, especially since I love to travel. I love to buy a lot of things, but it's not that I buy a lot of things. I like to buy expensive things. So I always tend to save and reach that little goals. Yeah. So if I see someone just randomly spending, even on Starbucks every day, it will piss me off because I'm just you're just...
Well, it's not even the fact that they're spending every day on Starbucks, because as long as you plan for that, you budget it in, or you're smart about it, then that's fine. But if you're just carelessly spending and you don't have a care for your future, that's where it becomes worrisome. A lot of people don't tend to talk about these things. They don't talk about future finances of what they want to do as far as do you want to own multiple properties? Do you want to buy a house? What are the things that you know that you see for your future as far as all of the finances go. Like, what is it that you want to do? Would you like to start a business? A lot of people are very business oriented, and some people aren't. They just are okay.
Yeah, just living a simple life, you know, and a lot of relationships. And going back to that real quick, when I said about that, it's just like, if I, you know, for me, I budget, and just like I said, if you put it in the budget, if it's established, like, this is how much we have, like, you have $40 to spend a week for Starbucks or for whatever you want to spend. But just if you see, like, if you and I have a joint account and I see you just randomly spend and you don't communicate with me, I'm going to have an issue, because I'm like, I don't feel comfortable. That's coming out of my comfort zone, but we don't bring it up. And I'm just letting you prolong doing this. I feel like I'm, like, you know, dying inside because you don't understand that this is affecting me, because I just see a bunch of negatives. So this is what I mean. And this is important that you communicate, because some people are okay with joint accounts. Some people aren't.
Yeah.
You know, and it's okay if you don't want to have joint accounts. It's okay if you don't want to do a lot of things. As long as you communicate and you put the things on the table and say what is that you want, and if it's going to work, then we can move on to the next stage. I think that's pretty important.
Yeah, I agree. I definitely agree. And then the same thing with, like, just owning properties in general. Like, some people, when they buy houses, if you're together, some want to just stay within their city.
Yeah.
And other couples or the other partner would
adventurous.
Want to, they want to possibly leave the town, try something new. So those are very important things.
Yeah. And I've known people that they're like, no, I want to be at the same town. I've lived here for years, and this is where I feel comfortable, and that's totally fine.
It's like all our friends are here. All our
my family
here.
is just like, and you know, I'm like, oh wow, you know, for me it's not very comfortable. For me, I'm like, I don't mind if I just move to Seattle. If I have a really good job out there, I can visit my mom. I can visit my friends. You know, life goes on. But a lot of people don't feel like that. So, but that's something that, again, you need to communicate. You need to share and see if that other person that you're with, your partner, your future husband, your boyfriend, or someone that you're dating now, this is the time to put it out there and be like, well, what is it that you want for your life? What are your goals? Do you have the same goals? Because that's also very important.
Yeah. And I mean, we're not saying that, like, oh, you need to discuss this on your first date, but over the time of dating someone, these are important things, especially if you see your future with someone. You at some point have to share the same goals and ideas.
Yeah.
How are we going to split the bills? If I fall short, are you going to be able to pick me up? Things like that.
Yeah, that's part of partnership. Remember, relationship is not just sex and adventures.
No.
So you have to talk about these things. They can be tough. It can be very uncomfortable, but it's just like, you have to be that vulnerable and that open if you want to pursue something, you know, more in the long term. You know, if I've seen people, I've seen couples, I've seen friends that they're with someone for a year and they don't even know how that person, I've been in that situation, that you've been with someone that you don't even know how much they earned. And I've realized how important that is, just because, not because I'm after your money or I want you to sustain me, but I want to make sure that when things fall down, especially like, look at this time now, when things fall down, I want to make sure that the person is next to me is going to be like, it's okay, we got this.
Yeah, I got you. Just like if the tables were turned, you got me.
Yeah, and you wouldn't even have to question that. You shouldn't question that. That's when it's a solid relationship, and you guys have to understand that. Like, we go out and eat, and it's a friendship, you know? But I'm like, I know she's struggling. I don't have to ask her what things she has to pay. It's just like, it's okay, let's put it in half. Or I got you today. And same thing she does to me. It's like, it's part of a relationship. It's part of something that you need to realize that it's very important if you want a long-term relationship with someone.
Yeah.
So
I think it's, those are things that need to be discussed. And as far as like what kind of house, there's a lot of important things that people just fail to share or kind of talk about until it's game time, and then they start to realize they want very different things, that they want, you know, then you start having this resentment towards each other because you feel like someone's sacrificing something, and then it's like you're not meeting in the middle, and you're constantly giving up pieces of yourself that you want. And
you don't want that, because then at the same time, it's just like she said, you don't want to have that hate for like, well, I did this for you, or I didn't do this for you. It happens all the time, and it's just like, it shouldn't get to that point.
Yeah.
If you communicate and you share your thoughts and you share how you felt about life or where you want to go in life, it's just, You know, it's relationship is part of a partnership. It's like you lift each other up to get where you want to get.
Yeah.
And it's like you both get there together and you push each other to be the best of you. If you don't have that, then the relationship is just worthless.
Yeah.
So,
but it's all about communication and sharing similar ideals too. It doesn't all have to be the same. Of course, opposites attract, but at the same time, like, you have to have something in common. And a lot of it, I feel like the important ones are like how you see your finances, how you see your future, kids.
Yeah.
Kids, you want them or not, how many.
And just be honest about it.
Yeah.
You want to have one kid and he wants to have 3. Maybe at the end, you know, it depends how you guys' relationship goes on. You guys can compromise and maybe have 2 later on. You know, it takes that little steps to feel comfortable enough in the relationship for you to take that, like, consideration. Like, you know what? I do want to have another child.
Yeah.
I'm happy enough to, you know, have another child and, you know, make our family bigger and stuff like that. You know, it's...
Yeah, and where you want to plant your roots. Are you more open to exploring the world or different parts? Or do you want to just stay seated where you grew up or what you know? You know, those are important things to talk about.
Just be honest. Always be honest.
Yes.
Be honest with yourself. Like I tell this all the time. You can lie to me all day long, but don't lie to yourself, because at the end of the day, you're the one that's going to suffer. And that's what it is in relationships.
Mm-hmm.
So...
And that goes the same thing with friendships too. But right now, like, again, you're not going to talk to your friend about how many kids you want, because you're not having kids with your friend unless it's a surrogacy. But totally different.
Hey, it's okay though. If you talk about it, it can go through. I'll have your bebés, mi amiga. Don't worry.
Oh, thank you.
Well, thank you again. I really hope you guys enjoyed, and remember, don't forget to like and subscribe and share your thoughts with us. And thank you for being here with us and supporting us. And I know, like Liz said, we've been slacking and not handling the situation.
We're not, but we're trying. We're trying here.
But we're putting our botitas back on, and we're coming for you.
We're coming. Beware.
Thanks again, and remember, we are the 2 Hot Beans in a Pod. And until next time.
Oh, and don't forget, we have a TikTok now. We're on TikTok.
Follow us.
Yes, follow us on TikTok.
Ridiculous lifestyles.
Yeah, in our moments. I feel very vulnerable doing that, by the way. Just like, these are...
We're gonna get... I think you guys are gonna see her more, honestly, than you're gonna see me, because she's... she's hilarious.
I just have a lot of moments. But yeah, so you'll be seeing a little bit more of like our personal, intimate side.
Yes.
Anyways, until next time, thank you so much for joining us and tuning in.
And remember, cheers, guys.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.